Chapter 585. What do you mean every patriarch of the Yang family is an above immortal ascension boundary master? Yang Yinghao smiled mysteriously, because the patriarch of the Yang family has special treatment, and this treatment can only be enjoyed by the patriarch of the Yang family. As long as you accept the position of patriarch, you can learn this secret. Listening to him say this, Yang Kai didn't react, but the other 7 patriarchs all breathed heavily. Obviously, they had heard of this secret of the Yang family but didn't know what it was. Is great uncle trying to tempt me with benefits? Yang Kai smiled. That's right. Yang Yinghao didn't deny it. Yang Kai was a person who would never suffer a loss. To put it simply, he was a mercenary. If he didn't see the rabbit, he wouldn't act. He didn't believe that the Yang family's secret couldn't move him. Can you reveal a little bit? Yang Kai really became interested. Yang Yinghao smiled and opened his mouth. Yang Kai's expression changed, and a look of pleasant surprise appeared on his face. The patriarchs of the 7 families scratched their ears and cheeks as they stared intently at the silent communication between Yang Kai and Yang Yinghao, but none of them knew what the two of them were talking about, causing them to feel as if they were being scratched by a cat. Although I'm a little tempted by this secret, great uncle, I really don't want to be the patriarch. Yang Kai frowned again and said seriously, the future of the Yang family will be created by you. Yang Yinghao's expression was equally serious. The central capital's 8 great families have struggled for so many generations, but after so many years, they have only developed to their current level. When the ash-gray cloud evil land attacked, the 8 great families were unable to resist, and half of the central capital fell. But you, after returning to the Yang family for only 2 years, you have already created a situation that is more prosperous than any of the 8 great families. Your mansion is now the true overlord of this world. I have to say that you are more suitable than anyone else to take charge of the Yang family. If not for this, do you think these old fogies would be relieved to hand over the position of patriarch to a child whose hair hasn't even grown yet? What they are relieved about is not their own children, but you. The 7 patriarchs all nodded and looked at Yang Kai expectantly, no longer showing any contempt. Yang Kai smiled bitterly. When he was the enemy of the 8 great families, Yang Kai didn't care if they lived or died, but now that they had all expressed their desire to make peace with him, they had also made some concrete actions, making Yang Kai somewhat embarrassed to target them. The 8 great families had taken great pains to resist the ash-gray cloud evil land's invasion. Uncle, I still have to let you down, Yang Kai said sincerely. However, given the current situation, I will be in charge of the Yang family for a period of time. After this matter is over, big brother or second brother will take over as the Yang family head. My future is not in the Yang family, nor is it in the central capital. This is just a part of my life, not the end. Yang Kai's eyes revealed a look of yearning and anticipation. Perhaps you won't believe it, but I always feel that somewhere in this world, there is a stronger cultivator, a stronger sect, a stronger family. Compared to them, the 8 great families are nothing. I'm afraid it's nothing. At the very least, Yang Kai knew of a place like Water Spirit Temple that could cultivate a master like Shui Ling. The 8 patriarchs all showed shocked looks as they glanced at each other, seemingly unable to understand the meaning of Yang Kai's words. In this world, what force could be stronger than the 8 great families? Although the ash-gray cloud evil land was powerful, it was only on the scale of the combined territory of the 6 great territories. That's fine. Yang Yinghao hesitated, nodding gently. If you have greater ambitions, I naturally won't stop you. During this time, you will temporarily take over the position of Yang family head. Yang Kai nodded lightly. I can take over temporarily, but there is no need for a succession ceremony. Yang Yinghao sighed. No longer forcing him, Yang Kai could only agree. When the news of the central capital's 8 great families changing patriarchs at the same time spread out, the world was shocked, especially those who were still in the central capital. The 7 great families held a real succession ceremony to formally hand over the position of patriarch. As for the Yang family, they only issued a statement to the outside world that in this life or death situation, Yang Kai would temporarily take over the position of patriarch. Such a big event should have been treated as the biggest event of all, but with so many masters from the ash-gray cloud evil land eyeing them covetously, the 7 great families decided to hold the succession ceremony of the 7 patriarchs together. This way, they could better guard against the ash-gray cloud evil land's actions. Fortunately, during this time, the ash-gray cloud evil land's cultivator was quite well behaved, and the 7 great families urgently arranged many matters for the ceremony. During this time, the task of defending the patriarchs was handed over to the many masters in Yang Kai's house. With the masters in Yang Kai's house defending, things here could proceed in an orderly manner. Time passed by, and 3 days later, Yang Yingfeng and his wife arrived at Yang Kai's house. After receiving the news, Yang Kai quickly came out to greet them and greet his 2 elders. Su Yan bashfully followed behind Yang Kai, blushing as she greeted them. Yang Yingfeng and Dong Suju were both experienced people, so when they saw Su Yan's shy appearance, they immediately understood the relationship between her and Yang Kai. Dong Suju immediately pulled Su Yan aside and began chatting with her, feeling quite satisfied with her future daughter-in-law who was as beautiful as an ice doll. 4th Master Yang even silently gave Yang Kai a thumbs up, a look of envy on his face. "Auntie, in fact he has another one." Su Yan suddenly whispered to Dong Suju. "Another one?" Dong Suju heard this and snickered, but her small face quickly became serious as she said to Su Yan, "Don't worry, I'll teach him a lesson. This little bastard, his wings have hardened, he's actually playing with women." She thought Su Yan was jealous and wanted to complain. "No, it's not like that." Su Yan quickly waved her hand, "It's just that junior sister's skin is thin, so she's a little embarrassed to come out, and junior brother has never expressed his feelings to her, so it's not appropriate to waste her life like this, so..." Dong Suju looked at Su Yan with some confusion. "Little girl, you mean, I want her to come and see uncle and auntie?" Su Yan said. Dong Suju was secretly surprised, not having expected Su Yan to be so magnanimous. After a while, she said, "As long as you don't mind, I'll naturally be happy to see her and give her an explanation. Then I'll bring her over." Su Yan said with a smile, her figure flickering and disappearing. "Mother, where did Su Yan go?" Yang Kai was talking to his father when he saw Su Yan run away and immediately asked. "Humph." Dong Suju snorted sarcastically. Yang Kai scratched his head, a look of confusion on his face. After a while, Su Yan really did bring Xia Ningchang over. The little senior sister's cheeks were red as she gracefully bowed to the 4th Master Yang and his wife, then obediently sat to the side, motionless. Only when Dong Suju asked her a few questions would she reply. Looking at this, looking at that, Dong Suju was especially satisfied. One was cold and beautiful, the other was clever and lovely. What kind of good fortune did his son have in his life? 4th Master Yang was very envious, but with a stern face he reprimanded, "You can't treat these 2 girls unfairly. Quickly set a date and settle this matter." Yang Kai laughed mischievously, "No need to rush. We're still young." "You are young but your parents are old," 4th Master Yang said in a muffled voice. "What?" "Look at mother, sitting next to little senior sister Su Yan, we're like 3 sisters." Yang Kai smiled and looked to the side, his heart filled with warmth. "Is that so?" Dong Suju liked to hear these words the most. "Of course." Yang Kai nodded. "Good, then we'll be sisters from now on." Dong Suju was very excited and affectionately pulled on Su Yan and Xia Ningchang. Su Yan and the little senior sister's beautiful faces turned pale as they stared at Dong Suju in shock. 4th Master Yang and Yang Kai's faces also darkened. "Your aunt often goes crazy, don't pay attention to her." 4th Master Yang hurriedly explained. "Father, why did you come here today?" Yang Kai also changed the topic, lest Su Yan and the little senior sister think too much. Yang Yingfeng said, "Your uncle wants you to go back." "Go back to the Yang family?" Yang Kai frowned. "When?" "As soon as possible." "I know." Yang Kai nodded slightly. "Did uncle say why?" "He didn't say, only that it was an important matter and that you must return to the Yang family in person." "Since that's the case, then I'll go right away." Yang Kai thought for a while and said, "Father, Mother, please wait a moment, I'll arrange it." After entering the mansion, Yang Kai informed everyone that he was returning to the Yang family. Qiu Yimeng and Huixing were not in the house right now and had returned to their respective families to prepare to take over the position of patriarch. Yang Kai could only let Ling Tai Su and Meng Wuya take care of the mansion for now. "Young master, don't blame old servant for speaking out of turn. The Yang family is so eager to invite you back. Is there some kind of conspiracy?" The old demon suddenly became vigilant. Yang Kai shook his head. "Since I've already agreed to join forces with them, they have no reason to target me." "That's not necessarily the case." The old demon smiled grimly. "The 8 great families are accustomed to being domineering. Now that they are forced to serve under someone else, I'm afraid they are filled with resentment. As long as young master has an accident, the strength of the mansion will collapse, and at that time, the 8 great families will be able to reap all the benefits. We have to guard against that." Meng Wuya also quickly said. "If they really do so, then they're too short-sighted." "I have nothing to say." Yang Kai sneered. Now that the crisis of the ash-gray cloud evil land occupying the central capital had not yet been resolved, these 8 great families were already trying to carve up benefits from Yang Kai's hands. If such a situation really occurred, the 8 great families would no longer need to remain in this world. "No matter what, old servant will go with you," the old demon quickly said. Yang Kai glanced at him and said casually, "Good." He always felt that the 8 great families would not be so idiotic this time. The young masters of the 8 great families were also serious about taking over the position of patriarch. In the face of such a great disaster, they had finally done the right thing. This made Yang Kai feel that there was still a way to save them. Yang Kai had participated in this war only because he wanted to absorb the spiritual energy of the immortal ascension boundary masters who had died. Now that a battle had not yet begun, Yang Kai needed to create some kind of opportunity. Merging the 8 great families with his mansion was the best opportunity. Chapter 586. Central Capital, Yang Family. The head of the 8 great families was located directly south of the central capital, so this time, the invasion of the ash-gray cloud evil land had not damaged the Yang family. When Yang Kai returned here again, the entire Yang family had not changed. The only thing that had changed was the Yang family's attitude towards him. As if they knew that Kai Yang was coming back today, the family's guards all straightened their backs and stared intently in front of them, their faces solemn. Just after entering the Yang family, Yang Kai saw a group of people waiting for him, led by Yang Tai, the 3rd brother of the Yang family's younger generation. "Greetings, Patriarch!" Yang Tai suddenly shouted, and the group of people behind him also hurriedly saluted. Yang Kai's expression became strange as he quickly stepped forward and asked softly, "Third brother, what's the matter?" "Great uncle asked us to greet you here." Yang Tai also responded softly, "You are now the patriarch of the Yang family, so you should act like one." "Acting patriarch?" Yang Kai nodded. "Same." Yang Tai straightened up again, smiled, and said loudly, "Patriarch, please, the elders have been waiting for you for a long time." Yang Kai nodded gently, adjusted his expression, and stepped forward. Behind him, 4th Master Yang, his wife, and old demon followed closely. The faces of the 4th Master Yang and his wife glowed with pride. Yang Kai had become the patriarch of the Yang family, so as his parents, they were naturally proud. Old demon, on the other hand, was constantly vigilant. He was an old demon, so he was naturally suspicious. He was quite worried that the Yang family had hurriedly summoned Yang Kai back this time for some ulterior purpose. Under the leadership of Yang Tai, Yang Kai and the others soon arrived in front of a large hall. At the front of the hall, 2 rows of people stood quietly. Roughly counting, there were at least 40 of them. These people were all Yang family elders, including Yang Zhen and the elders Yang Kai had met before. The several elders who had once ridiculed Yang Kai couldn't help but feel complicated when they saw him again. They were secretly worried that Yang Kai would cause trouble for them, but Yang Kai turned a blind eye to them and directly walked past them, as if he didn't know them at all. Those people couldn't help but sigh in relief. Yang Yinghao clasped his hands behind his back and stood in front of the hall, exuding a dignified aura, his eyes shining brightly as he stared at the approaching Yang Kai. When Yang Kai arrived, everyone saluted in unison, "Greetings, Patriarch." Yang Kai nodded lightly. Ignoring the discomfort in his heart, he walked straight through the 2 rows of elders with a solemn expression. Arriving at Yang Yinghao's side, Yang Kai cupped his fists and said, "Uncle." "Patriarch." Yang Yinghao smiled, "Please come in." Saying so, he took the lead and led Yang Kai into the hall. The 3 Yang family grand elders beside him stepped forward and stood in front of Old Demon, the Yang family 4th master, and his wife. "Heh, what's the meaning of this?" Old Demon laughed strangely, his aura gradually becoming more dangerous. "Your Excellency, please forgive us. This is my Yang family's most important place. Besides the Patriarch, no one can enter. Your Excellency, please wait here," one of the Transcendent Realm Grand Elders said lightly. "That won't do, I have to follow the young master at all times." Old Demon slowly shook his head, an expression that said there was no room for discussion. The reason he had come here was to protect Yang Kai's safety, but now someone wanted to separate him from Yang Kai. How could Old Demon agree? "Old Demon, you stay here." Yang Kai turned around and ordered. "Young master." Yang Kai shook his head, indicating that he was fine. "Then young master must be careful." Old Demon frowned and cautioned. Yang Yinghao's expression changed slightly as he laughed dumbly. "Your Excellency is worried that we will harm the Patriarch? You may know a person for a long time without understanding their true nature." Old Demon sneered. "Old Demon, don't be presumptuous." Yang Kai coldly shouted. Old Demon quickly responded. The 3 grand elders looked at each other for a moment before suddenly laughing and directing praising looks towards Old Demon. "Your Excellency's loyalty to the Patriarch is obvious to all of us. May I ask your Excellency's name?" Although they all knew of the existence of the Old Demon, they never knew his name. Old Demon calmly replied, "This old master is called Old Demon." The 3 Grand Supreme Elders understood tacitly and did not mind. One of them said, "Then Brother D, please wait here. If it's quick, it'll be 2 to 3 hours. If it's long, it'll be 3 to 5 days. Then the Patriarch will come out. Someone serve tea." Someone immediately went to prepare tea to entertain Old Demon. Yang Kai followed Yang Yinghao step by step towards the main hall, and after a while, they arrived in front of it. Looking up, Yang Kai muttered, "Soul Root Temple?" "Yes, Soul Root Temple." Yang Yinghao nodded gently. "This is the most important temple of my Yang family and is also the foundation. Except for the Patriarch, no one is qualified to enter it, even the Yang family's grand elders. If not under certain conditions, they can't enter." Yang Kai nodded gently. He had heard of the name of this temple and knew that it was an important place for the Yang family. Its degree of secrecy and preciousness was even higher than the dragon transformation pond, but he never knew what secrets were hidden inside. "Great uncle, I'm just a substitute Patriarch, and I don't care about any of the Yang family's affairs. It's only because the 8 great families want to unite with my house to resist the ash-gray cloud evil land that I have this title. Is it really okay to go in like this?" Yang Kai frowned and asked. "A substitute Patriarch is still the Patriarch." Yang Yinghao smiled lightly. "Don't worry, go in." Saying so, he reached out and pushed open the door of the Soul Root Temple. With a creak, the door opened and Yang Kai looked inside. To his surprise, the hall was empty. Except for the incense burner in the front, there was nothing else. Following Yang Yinghao into the hall, Yang Kai turned his head and looked around, suddenly discovering some unusual things. In the 4 corners of the hall, there were 4 majestic and lifelike stone sculptures standing tall. An azure dragon, a white tiger, a vermilion bird, and a black tortoise. The 4 stone sculptures stood in 4 corners, and there was some vague connection between them. Yang Yinghao led Kai Yang to the central position, curled his finger, and used his fingernail to make a small cut on his palm. With a wave of his hand, 4 drops of blood suddenly flew out and accurately entered the mouths of the 4 stone sculptures. As if there was an incredible reaction, the 4 stone sculptures suddenly lit up with spirit array lines, and an inexplicable energy sprayed out from the mouths of the 4 stone sculptures and quickly gathered in midair. Yang Kai looked up and saw that in the void, a white light suddenly burst out, and as the energy from the 4 stone sculptures poured into it, the light grew brighter and brighter. What you're about to see is the treatment the Yang family patriarch has enjoyed and is also the Yang family's top secret. I asked you before why every Yang family patriarch was able to reach the above immortal ascension boundary. This secret is now right in front of you, so instead of me telling you, it's better for you to experience it for yourself. This is one of the benefits of being the Yang family patriarch. Yang Yinghao looked at the halo in the sky and explained. Great uncle, Yang Kai hesitated, is this appropriate? What's not appropriate? Yang Yinghao raised his brow. Since it's a benefit if I take it, when big brother or second brother comes here in the future, won't they lose everything? Yang Kai was a little worried that if he took the benefits, he would have to take responsibility. Yang Kai didn't want to be bound to the Yang family for the rest of his life. Yang Yinghao stared at him blankly for a moment before laughing and shaking his head. Your appetite isn't small, you want to take it all? If you have the ability, you don't need to worry, take as much as you can, but I don't think you can take it all. Don't ask me too much. After you go in, you will know why I said so. Listening to him say this, Yang Kai became more and more puzzled. But remember, once you enter, there will be a certain amount of danger. If you feel something is wrong, quickly withdraw. I know, Yang Kai nodded gently. At that moment, the halo in the sky suddenly stabilized, and the energy shot out from the mouths of the 4 beasts in the 4 corners of the hall no longer transmitted, everything returning to normal. When he saw the light in the sky again, Yang Kai's eyes lit up, suddenly feeling that the scene in front of him was somewhat familiar. After thinking about it carefully, he finally remembered. The ball of light in the sky now was basically the same as the one he saw in the Seal Temple. In the Seal Temple, the transcendents of the 8 great families gathered their spiritual energy and opened up a will space that only they could enter to communicate. In that will space, they exchanged martial skills and comprehended the heavenly way and martial Dao. This way, they could use their full strength without worrying about damaging the surrounding buildings or causing unnecessary casualties. At this moment, the huge ball of light in the Soul Root Temple and the one in the Seal Temple seemed to have originated from the same source. Faintly, Yang Kai somewhat understood what secrets were hidden inside. You can go in, release your divine sense. After listening to Yang Yinghao's words, Yang Kai did not hesitate and immediately released his spiritual energy and poured it into the ball of light. Yang Yinghao turned his head and glanced at him, secretly looking forward to it. When he entered that place, he obtained a lot of benefits. After coming out, his cultivation rapidly improved without any bottlenecks, climbing to the above immortal ascension boundary step by step. Over the years of the Yang family, only Yang Kai's aptitude was the best. Yang Yinghao was also very curious and looking forward to how much benefits he could obtain from that place. Inside that will space was a collection of the precious experiences of countless generations of the Yang family. Inside that huge ball of light, Yang Kai's soul avatar gradually appeared. Just like when he accidentally broke into the will space of the 8 great masters in the Seal Temple, this world seemed to be different from reality, a purely illusory world. A strong wind blew past, the blue sky was clear, and everywhere was filled with the sound of birds chirping and the fragrance of flowers. Around him, there were groups of white dots emitting faint light, flying around Yang Kai. Yang Kai looked at these white dots curiously. Suddenly, his expression became dignified as he stared at these white dots, showing a vigilant expression. With a burst of laughter, the white dots quickly spread out and surrounded Yang Kai in a circle. Immediately, these white dots wriggled and transformed into clear soul avatars. Each of these soul avatars was extremely powerful, all of them having reached the transcendent realm. There were both men and women, but regardless of whether they were men or women, all of them had white hair. Chapter 587. The soul avatars of these white-haired old masters all looked at Yang Kai with great interest, some showing interested looks, some gloomy looks, and some even laughed strangely, exuding a dangerous aura. How many years has it been? Suddenly, a voice sounded. It's been almost 20 years since that boy named Yang Hao came here, right? A full 20 years. Someone replied. 20 years, in the blink of an eye. It's only been 20 years, how come someone else came in? Is Yang Hao dead? No, if he died, his soul avatar should have come here. Did he die outside? Heh, I already said that boy wasn't patriarch material, and sure enough, it's true. This boy isn't good either, he looks too young. How could he come in when his hair hasn't even grown out yet? The Yang family seems to be getting worse and worse with each generation, reduced to letting such a young boy be the patriarch. What kind of scandal is this? Hey, you little brat, are you a member of our Yang family? Answer honestly, if you dare deceive us, we'll make you beg for death. Shouts came from all directions as these white-haired soul avatars expressed their opinions, as if they hadn't talked to anyone for many years. Now that they had finally caught a living soul avatar, they began to talk incessantly. Yang Kai remained silent, looking around coldly, his mind turning rapidly, gradually understanding what was going on in front of him. Not talking? Is he mute? I don't think he's a member of the Yang family. Just swallow him, If he's not a member of the Yang family, he can't come here. The 4 sacred beast statues can only be opened by someone with the Yang family bloodline. This boy doesn't show any panic at all. His temperament is quite calm. When that Yang Hao came here, he was scared by us. Yang Hao, rotten mud can't support a wall. I'm afraid he's dead somewhere now. Shut up all of you. An angry roar rang out, and all the soul avatars immediately fell silent. Yang Kai looked in the direction of the voice and saw an old woman with white hair and a ruddy complexion. She held a walking stick in her hand and silently floated not far from him, staring at him with cold eyes. It was obvious that this old woman had been a beautiful woman when she was young, and an absolutely powerful one at that. Her seniority among these soul avatars should also be very high, otherwise, when she shouted, everyone else wouldn't have fallen silent. Turning around, Yang Kai faced her and cupped his fists. Yang family direct descendant, ranked 9th, Yang Kai greets all ancestors. A look of surprise flashed across the old woman's eyes. You know we are the ancestors of the Yang family? I can guess a little. Yang Kai nodded slightly. The old woman looked at him approvingly. Good, your eyesight is good, better than Yang Hao's. When he first came here, I had to explain to him for a long time. What happened to Yang Hao? Is he dead? Great uncle is still here, he was the one who opened this place and let me in. Yang Kai replied with a straight face. The old woman nodded lightly and asked, do you know where this place is? Great uncle said it was the top secret of the Yang family. Yang Kai grinned. In my opinion, this should be the place where the divine senses of the Yang family's ancestors gathered after they died. Everyone's expression changed, all of them staring at Yang Kai with a strange light flashing in their eyes. You can see that? Yes, it must be that little bastard Yang Hao who told him. I already said, you can bring people here, but don't say anything. Let me explain, it's rare to be able to talk to a living person, but such a good opportunity was ruined by him. I'm going to come back to life and kill that little bastard. Third Master, please calm down. Yes, I'm afraid your bones have already turned to dust. How can you come back to life? These people seem to have not said a word for many years, but now that they saw Yang Kai, they were all very excited. Once they had the opportunity, they would talk non-stop. The old woman glared at them fiercely, and everyone quickly shut up. Yes, as you said, this is the place where the divine senses of the Yang family's ancestors gathered after they died. The soul avatars here were all Yang family's grand elders before they died. The old woman paused her walking stick and said in a deep voice, this old woman is the Yang family's second-generation grand elder, Yang Yi. Yang Kai was slightly moved. The second generation of the Yang family, who knew how many years ago this was? The Yang families above Immortal Ascension Boundary Masters, if they perceive that their time is up, will come to the Soul Foundation Temple and escape their divine senses into the 4 sacred beast statues to preserve their life experience for the younger generation to come and absorb. It took countless years to gather to today's scale. Yang Kai turned his head and looked around. He roughly counted and found that there were at least 40 to 50 soul avatars of Transcendent Realm Masters gathered here. Such a huge number, such a huge amount of resources, if they could be completely absorbed, the benefits they could get would be huge. Only the patriarch of the Yang family can enter here and get benefits from the soul avatars of this old woman and others. With our experience, no one will have a bottleneck before they break through to the above immortal ascension boundary. Can you understand this? Yang Kai nodded gently. With their insights, there should be no bottlenecks before they break through to the transcendent realm. As long as their own strength can keep up, they will continue to break through without any worries. Yang Yi said again, since you were sent here by Yang Ying Hao, it means that you are the current patriarch. We are already dead, so we should not care about what happens to the Yang family now, but this old woman still has to ask, why is a young man like you the patriarch? What qualifications do you have? What qualifications do I have? Yang Kai looked strange and thought for a moment. This junior is not yet 19 this year, but he is already an Immortal Ascension Boundary 5th Stage Master and has 27 Transcendent Realm Masters under his command. Is this enough qualifications? This old woman can feel your cultivation, and the strength of your spiritual energy is unheard of by this old woman and others. But what do you mean by Transcendent Realm? Yang Yi frowned and looked puzzled. The others also looked at Yang Kai puzzledly. Yang Kai was surprised, only now remembering that the Transcendent Realm was something only the top masters in his family knew about. These Yang family ancestors had probably never even heard of it before. Transcendent Realm is what you call the above immortal ascension boundary. Yang Kai explained. It turns out that the world already has a name for this realm. Yang Yi nodded enviously. Her understanding of the above immortal ascension boundary was very vague. 27 above immortal ascension boundary masters? Someone exclaimed and looked at Yang Kai in disbelief, laughing, little brat, you have to pay a price for lying. The others also showed a funny look, thinking that Yang Kai was bragging. Is it necessary for me to lie to the dead? Yang Kai looked indifferent and turned his head to look around. Everyone gradually calmed down. Only then did they realize that what he said might be true. However, they still couldn't accept that there were 27 above immortal ascension boundary masters under his command. This number was a little too large. Whether what you said is true or not, if you want to get benefits from us, you have to show some ability. Yang Yi coldly snorted. Senior, please enlighten us. The second generation of the Yang family painstakingly created the statues of the 4 divine beasts with the intention of leaving behind some experience for the younger generation. Over the years, we have also done the same. Everyone who has come here has obtained great benefits. But it has been too long. Yang Yi's expression was slightly pained. This old woman can't remember how many years my soul avatar has been trapped here. After so many years of endless silence and nothingness, no matter who it is, there will be some uneasiness and panic. Our will and original intentions have been distorted by this long-flowing time great emperor. What do you mean? Yang Kai frowned and suddenly found that the auras of the soul avatars around him were a little different. One by one, they were all exuding a gloomy and terrifying aura, staring at him like a beast staring at a delicious meal. Yang Ying Hao should have told you that there is a certain danger in coming here, and this danger comes from this old woman and the others. Yang Yi said coldly, our greatest wish now is to leave this place, and you are the best carrier. You want to seize my body? Yang Kai was shocked. This is the instinct of our soul avatars after being trapped for so many years. Although we will also restrain it, you have to be careful. Yang Yi reminded him loudly, since you have come here, either you get experience from us and leave safely, or your soul avatar will be swallowed by one of us, occupying your body and living in your place. Yang Kai looked around and found that as Yang Yi said, the soul avatars of these Yang family ancestors were all looking at him expectantly, as if they wanted to devour his divine sense, but each of them was struggling to resist the instinctive impulse and restrain their desire to do it. This situation can be severe or mild. Those who have been trapped for a long time have strong desires and instincts, while those who have been trapped for a short time have mild symptoms. Over the years, there have been many soul avatars who have lost their own minds in the flowing time Great Emperor and have become unconscious violent energy. We have destroyed them together, and the fate of all of us in the future is the same. Then you are really sad. Yang Kai looked at them with some pity. Perceiving the meaning contained in his eyes, everyone was secretly surprised. Everyone who entered this place was either ecstatic or frightened, but no one had ever sympathized with them. Yang Kai was the first. Yang Yi's slightly ferocious face suddenly eased, and she stared at Yang Kai for a while before saying, "Sad or not, this is our own choice. Your evaluation is meaningless. If you don't accidentally die elsewhere in the future, your soul avatar will also enter here, leaving your own cultivation experience and insights for the younger generation of the Yang family." "I won't." Yang Kai shook his head slowly, looking firm, "but your sad fate will be ended by me today." Chapter 588. At the place where the spiritual energy gathered, the 40 to 50 ancestors of the Yang family all looked at Yang Kai in amazement and were silent. After a while, there was a burst of laughter, boasting shamelessly. Yang Yi also had a strange smile on her face. "You mean, you want to swallow all of us?" Yang Kai nodded. "Ha ha." Countless laughter came out, and it seemed that Yang Kai had told a very good joke, which made everyone unable to control themselves. Yang Yi nodded gently. "If you really want to do this, we will be willing to be swallowed by you. After all, this is the biggest wish of our soul avatars, but it is impossible for you to do it." "Then, seniors, please wait and see." Yang Kai grinned as he released the throbbing sensation that had been suppressing his soul. Since coming here, his soul avatars had involuntarily produced a strong suction force, which was the attractive force of the solitary golden eye in his knowledge sea. However, before he could figure out the mystery here, Yang Kai suppressed this suction force. Now, he released the restriction of this suction force, and a huge suction force suddenly swept the entire space. The soul avatars of the 40 to 50 Yang family ancestors were all moved, and before they could react to what was going on, they were all sucked into Yang Kai's knowledge sea. There were no clouds in the sky for thousands of miles, and the seawater under his feet was clear. A colorful treasure island stood quietly on the surface of the sea. The sudden change of the scene made the 40 to 50 soul avatars confused for a while. All of them looked around in a daze, and none of them reacted. "Welcome everyone." Yang Kai's soul avatars gradually appeared, and with his hands behind his back, he greeted everyone warmly like a master returning home. "This is your knowledge sea?" Yang Yi exclaimed. "Yes, this is Disciple's knowledge sea." "How did you do it?" Yang Yi looked at Yang Kai in disbelief. She clearly couldn't figure out what he did, and actually sucked all the soul avatars into his knowledge sea. "I didn't do it. It's because of this." Yang Kai pointed at the solitary golden eye floating above the island. Following the direction he pointed, Yang Yi and the others turned to look. They didn't know why, but everyone's heart inexplicably gave birth to a sense of uneasiness, as if the unknown object was their nemesis. "What is this?" Yang Yi panicked. After the endless flowing time Great Emperor passed by, she clearly could not remember what she had felt before. But now, she clearly understood what fear was. Not only her, but the other 40 to 50 soul avatars were also the same. Their hands and feet trembled involuntarily, and their expressions became ferocious. They stared at the solitary golden eye like a dormant beast, extremely dangerous. "I don't know what it is, but it can cut off the painful shackles that have bound you for countless flowing time Great Emperor." Yang Kai gently took a breath, looked at Yang Yi and the others, and said, "I don't know what kind of mood you are in before you die, but since the endless flowing time Great Emperor has distorted your will, then today, let's end it here." As he spoke, the closed solitary golden eye slowly opened. Yang Kai didn't talk nonsense, and was ready to start directly. The majestic golden pupil made everyone unable to help but feel a sense of fear. Brush, a golden light shot out from the solitary golden eye, and a soul avatar standing in the same place didn't even have time to react, and was hit by the golden light. There was a crackling sound, and the consciousness and thoughts contained in this soul avatar were instantly purified, leaving only a large mass of pure energy. Xiao xiao xiao, golden light shot out one after another, and one soul avatar after another was purified. In the face of the supreme majesty of the golden light, these soul avatars didn't even have the strength to resist. Yang Yi's eyes were filled with fear in an instant. She finally understood why Yang Kai had so much confidence to say that he would swallow all of them. This strange golden light could purify their thoughts and consciousness, and the remaining pure energy could be absorbed by anyone. I don't want to be destroyed. Suddenly, there was a roar, and it was unknown which generation of the Yang family's ancestors saw so many soul avatars being destroyed, and the suppressed energy finally broke out. He roared like a ghost, and rushed towards Yang Kai, wanting to restrain Yang Kai and gain a glimmer of hope. Yang Kai looked at him indifferently, and his eyes were slightly complicated, both pity and regret. Pity was that their soul avatars had been imprisoned for so many years, and had suffered countless torments from the flowing time Great Emperor. Pity was that their wishes and original intentions were good, but with the passage of the flowing time Great Emperor, their natures were gradually changed. "Stop!" Yang Yi suddenly shouted. Hearing her shout, the soul avatar who wanted to attack Yang Kai suddenly stopped, and a pair of eyes were struggling with thousands of emotions. He stared at Yang Kai, and although he was close, he couldn't do anything. "Do you want to destroy the pride of the Yang family's ancestors for so many years?" Yang Yi said lightly. This sentence was like a bolt from the blue, and the man's eyes restored a moment of clarity. With a long roar, he abandoned Yang Kai and turned to rush towards the open solitary golden eye. The golden light shot down and purified him. The next moment, the remaining soul avatars rushed up together, and each of them had a complex expression, both happy and frightened. "Xiao xiao xiao," Yang Kai looked on coldly, and did not stop them, nor did he take any action, and let them rush to the solitary golden eye like moths to a flame. Soon, only Yang Yi was left in the entire sea of consciousness, and all the other soul avatars had been completely purified. Yang Yi took a breath gently, and looked at Yang Kai with relief, and said in a deep voice, "I want to say thank you to you on behalf of them." Yang Kai's eyes flashed, and he whispered, "You're welcome. This generation of the Yang family has a patriarch like you, it must be a big deal." Yang Yi showed a smile, and her old face slowly changed. After a while, she turned into a beautiful woman. She had a head of beautiful hair that gently fluttered in the wind, a pair of supple eyebrows, a pair of charming starry eyes, a straight nose, slightly red cheeks, a pair of sharp cherry lips, snow-white cheeks, and jade-like skin that was as soft as snow. Her figure was absolutely beautiful, to the point that it was suffocating. Yang Kai was slightly lost. "This is what I looked like when I was young. At the last moment, I hoped to die in this posture." Yang Yi pursed her lips and smiled. Suddenly she snapped, "Junior boy, if you dare to reveal this matter, I will not let you go even if I become a ghost." "I dare not." Yang Kai had a strange expression. Yang Yi nodded gently, and her body flickered, turning into a streamer, and rushed up. The solitary golden eye once again shot out a beam of golden light and hit her body. A piercing sound came out, and Yang Yi's thoughts and consciousness were quickly annihilated. At the last moment, Yang Kai seemed to see a look of serenity appear on her face. The solitary golden eye slowly closed, and the sea breeze blew. Above the entire sea of consciousness, there were 40 to 50 pure energy clusters floating. Yang Kai waved his hand and gathered all of this energy into one place. The ancestors of the Yang family painstakingly escaped their soul avatars into the statues of the 4 sacred beasts before they died, hoping to give some help to the younger generation. However, no matter how good the wish was, no matter how thorough the arrangement was, it was still eroded by the flowing time Great Emperor. Yang Yi said that in this endless flowing time Great Emperor, there have been many soul avatars who could not stand the torture of time and became unconscious, leaving behind brutal energy that was destroyed by them. In this case, I am afraid that this is the final ending for each of them. The Yang family's move was to help the living, but to blaspheme the dead. Not knowing whether it was right or wrong, Yang Kai did not want to comment, nor was he willing to comment. After a long time, Yang Kai came to the pure energy cluster, sat down cross-legged, and began to absorb. Gradually he found a problem. The increase in strength that this energy could bring to him was too little, so little that it was almost negligible. The ruthless and endless flowing time Great Emperor made the spiritual energy of the ancestors of the Yang family constantly deplete. Now, how much energy was left in their soul avatars? It was probably less than 1,000th of their peak. This kind of energy naturally could not bring about a rise in power to Yang Kai. However, the insights and understandings of the heavenly way and martial Tao that belonged to the Yang family ancestors that were hidden in this mysterious power had been completely preserved. Just these insights alone were enough to benefit Yang Kai greatly. Indeed, as Yang Yi said, after absorbing these, anyone would not have a bottleneck before breaking through to the transcendent realm. With the rise of the immortal ascension boundary, Yang Kai found that it was quite difficult to break through each layer. It was not that his strength could not keep up, but that his understanding of the immortal ascension boundary was too little. Now that he had absorbed the insights of these Yang Kai ancestors, this was no longer a problem. Coupled with the spiritual energy of several transcendents and their insights, Yang Kai estimated that he would not have any bottlenecks for a long time in the future. Perhaps, all the way until he broke through to the third-order transcendent realm. Yang Kai was ecstatic. This surprise diluted the faint sadness in his heart, so naturally, he spared no effort to absorb it. 2 days later, Yang Kai slowly opened his eyes and felt a little. His realm had not changed much, still at the Immortal Ascension Boundary 5th stage, but his understanding of the Immortal Ascension Boundary had reached a level that no one could reach. These were all treasures left behind by the Yang family ancestors. Not only did Yang Kai have an unparalleled understanding of the Immortal Ascension Boundary, but he also had a strong understanding of the Transcendent Realm. He was still standing in the middle of the Soul Foundation Temple, and there was a life aura behind him that belonged to Yang Yinghao. However, at this moment, Yang Kai felt that his uncle's aura was a little strange, as if his heart was extremely unsettled. Stretching his body a bit, Kai Yang turned around and called out, "Uncle! Did you succeed?" Yang Yinghao asked nervously. Entering the Soul Foundation Temple was also a test for the patriarch of the Yang family. If he could not get benefits from the Soul Foundation Temple, then he was not suitable to continue to be the patriarch. Seeing that Yang Kai had finally recovered, Yang Yinghao naturally asked quickly. Chapter 589. In fact, Yang Yinghao also felt that Yang Kai should have succeeded, but he couldn't understand what happened in the past 2 days. Sure enough, Yang Kai nodded gently. Yang Yinghao hesitated for a while before asking, "How many did you absorb?" "All of them." "All of them?" Yang Yinghao's eyes almost popped out as he looked at Yang Kai in disbelief. "How did you withstand it?" Yang Yinghao was dumbfounded. He had entered that space himself and knew what opportunities there were inside, but he also knew what dangers he would encounter there. When he entered that space with his Immortal Ascension Boundary 7th-stage cultivation, he only managed to absorb the soul avatars of 2 Yang family ancestors. Even so, it took him a full 2 to 3 years to get rid of the thoughts and consciousnesses of the 2 soul avatars. After all, when he obtained their comprehension of the heavenly Tao and martial Tao, he would also inherit the torment they had suffered for countless years. It was as if he had personally experienced it, and the pain was unbearable. This sort of thing had to be removed, otherwise, it would affect his life of peace. If there was one more, Yang Yinghao estimated that he wouldn't be able to bear it, and at that time, even if he didn't die, he would become a cripple. But now, Yang Kai told him that he had absorbed all the soul avatars of the Yang family ancestors. Yang Yinghao couldn't believe it, but he had to believe it. Because the 4 sacred beast statues had all cracked, the space where the consciousnesses gathered no longer existed. Such a situation meant that the space where the soul avatars of Yang Kai's ancestors gathered had disappeared, which also meant that those soul avatars had been absorbed by someone else. From now on, the Soul Foundation Temple would no longer be able to play its previous role unless the 4 sacred beast statues could be repaired and Yang Kai's soul avatars escaped into it before they died. Yang Yinghao's expression was complex as he stared at Yang Kai, his eyes filled with respect. This kind of demeanor was not something an elder should have when looking at a junior, but Yang Yinghao couldn't help showing it. He knew that at this moment he might be standing a little higher than Yang Kai, but with the passage of time, Yang Kai would definitely climb to a height that he could never hope to reach. At that time, he would be standing on the clouds, overlooking all living things. I'm sorry for destroying the Yang family's foundation. I will compensate you later. Yang Kai frowned, also aware of the destruction of the 4 sacred beast statues. No need, this place was originally prepared for the head of the Yang family. Yang Yinghao shook his head and respectfully said, Patriarch, the succession ceremony for the 7 great families has been prepared. It will be held at the Yang family's heaven altar. We are only waiting for you to begin. Yang Kai raised his eyebrows, thinking that his current status and identity were indeed somewhat different in the eyes of those people. Such a big matter had actually been waiting for him. He grinned and said, If that's the case, then let's hurry over. We can't let them wait for too long. Yang Yinghao nodded slightly and led the way. Arriving outside the Soul Root Temple, Yang Kai found that the elders and the Yang family 4th master were no longer there. Only Old Demon was still there, waiting. Seeing Yang Kai walk out safely, the old demon grinned meaningfully. Yang family's heaven altar. Nearly 2 years ago, the Yang family's inheritance war began here. The 8 brothers of the Yang family gathered here to listen to Patriarch Yang Yinghao's impassioned speech, riding cloud-treading colts to War City in high spirits. Nearly 2 years later, the succession ceremony for the 7 great families was also held here. When Yang Kai arrived, all the preparations had been made, and with a loud shout, the patriarch of the Yang family has arrived. Everyone stood up and respectfully greeted him. Yang Kai's expression remained calm as he quickly walked up to the heaven altar, looked around and declared, Junior is still young, so although I am temporarily acting as the Yang family patriarch, I am not familiar with the etiquette and procedures of this succession ceremony. Today's matter will be handled by Great Uncle. It was impossible for him to preside over the succession ceremony. Although he wouldn't make a fool of himself, this was still a major event for the 7 great families. If he made a mistake in the procedures, it would be too hasty. Yang Yinghao nodded lightly and his figure flickered as he flew up to the heaven altar. While Yang Yinghao was speaking, Yang Kai quietly retreated and approached Qiu Yimeng and the others. How do you feel? Yang Kai glanced at the 7 young people and smiled. Terrible, Hua Xing curled his lips. When I think about this young master becoming the patriarch of the Hua family, I feel like dying. You really aren't suitable. Yang Kai laughed. Yang Kai, thank you. Qiu Yimeng suddenly said. Thank me for what? Yang Kai tilted his head and looked at her. Don't play dumb. You and I both know that the reason you so generously accepted all the great forces that came to join you was to create pressure on the 8 great families and force them to abdicate. Qiu Yimeng's face bloomed with a wise smile. Others think you're just using this opportunity to gather strength, but I know your purpose is to maintain the current situation. Yang Kai was stunned but didn't deny it, nodding. That's part of the reason. I've always wanted to inherit the Qiu family, and now that my wish has been fulfilled, naturally I want to thank you. Qiu Yimeng's face showed a trace of emotion. Tell me, what do you want as a thank you gift? If you want it, I can do it. Hua Xing and the others trembled as they stared at Qiu Yimeng strangely. Meng Shan-yi coughed violently and after a long time, his face pale as he gasped for breath. Qiu Yimeng, you are now the patriarch of the Qiu family. It's not good to say such things in public. It will affect the reputation of the Qiu family. Brother Meng, haven't you recovered from your injuries? Yang Kai glanced at him, grateful that he had changed the subject. Meng Shan-yi smiled bitterly. I'm afraid I won't be able to recover in this lifetime. Meng Shan-yi had been poisoned by the Ghost King and Poison King's Ghost Qi, and although he had managed to escape with his life, he had been bedridden for the past 6 months. If it weren't for the inauguration ceremony being held today, he wouldn't have come out. Yang Kai frowned and thought for a moment before leaning over and whispering, "Open your mouth." Meng Shan-yi was surprised. In the next moment, he felt something being flicked into his mouth by Yang Kai, and he swallowed it involuntarily. A warm current spread through his abdomen, giving him a trace of strength, and even his pale face became a little rosy. Meng Shan-yi's mind quickly flashed a few speculations and his face filled with joy as he cupped his fists and said, "Many thanks, Brother Yang." Yang Kai smiled and shook his head, no longer saying anything. At this moment, Yang Yinghao finished his speech and shouted, "The inauguration ceremony begins now." Gongs, drums, and pipes rang out, creating a lively atmosphere. Yang Kai's mouth curled into a strange smile as he turned his head to look towards the northern sky. Amidst the sounds of gongs and drums, several silhouettes rapidly shot over from the north. A palpitating panic suddenly spread in everyone's hearts. Sure enough, they've come. Qiu Yimeng stood up and stood beside Yang Kai, staring into the distance. They have no choice but to come. Yang Kai coldly snorted. The sounds of gongs, drums, and pipes continued, but the elite masters of the 8 great families were all secretly gathering their strength and moving quickly, their faces filled with excitement and eagerness. Although they were aware of the abnormality here, the figures from the north were not afraid and still approached like lightning. Although Yang Kai had been staying in the Soul Root Temple for the past 2 days, this situation had long been anticipated by him. The inauguration ceremony of the 7 great families was just a pretense. The real ceremony of inheriting the patriarchs had been secretly held by the 7 great families last night. In other words, Qiu Yimeng and the others were now the rightful patriarchs of the 7 great families. The young people becoming the patriarchs of the 7 great families represented the official establishment of an alliance with Yang Kai. If the ash-gray cloud evil land did not act now, after today's inauguration ceremony was over, they would be attacked by Yang Kai and the entire central capital's elite forces. The one who struck first had the advantage. Everyone knew this truth. Even if Yang Bai knew this was a trap, he had no choice but to fall into it. Not long after, the figures of the 6 great evil kings appeared in front of everyone's eyes. They stood in a hexagonal formation, quietly suspended mid-air, each of them emitting a strange aura. Bursts of strange laughter came from the mouths of the Ghost King and Poison King, making everyone's blood boil. The 6 great evil kings. Yang Yinghao and the others stared at the 6 great evil kings with burning eyes, each of them revealing an incomparable hatred. Among them, Yiquang Ren and Kang Rui stared at the 2 people held in the hands of the profound Yin Ghost King. They were Yi Xenro and Kang Zhan, who had been captured half a year ago. At this moment, the 2 of them looked sluggish, their clothes in tatters, their appearance haggard, their yuan qi seemingly completely drained away, reducing them to the level of ordinary people. It was obvious that over the past 6 months, they had suffered some inhumane torture at the hands of the ash-gray cloud evil land. Perceiving the gazes of these 2 people, the Ghost King laughed sinisterly. The succession ceremony of the 7 great families is a grand occasion for the world. The Lord ordered us to come and congratulate you, so we offer a trifling amount of money as a token of our respect. Please accept it. Saying so, he reached out and threw Yi Xenro and Kang Zhan down. Yiquang Ren and Kang Rui roared and rushed up, preparing to catch Yi Xenro and Kang Zhan. "Don't!" Yang Yinghao shouted. The Ghost King's actions were mysterious, so it was impossible for him to return Yi Xenro and Kang Zhan without any reason. These 2 must have been tampered with. However, to everyone's surprise, after Yi Xenro and Kang Zhan were picked up by Yiquang Ren and Kang Rui respectively, nothing special happened. The 2 young men's faces were dull, as if they had lost their souls, their eyes dull and lifeless. Although they were still breathing, they were no different from walking corpses. Yiquang Ren and Kang Rui carefully examined their situation and found nothing unusual, but they still didn't dare relax and handed them over to their family members, quickly ordering, "Take them away and imprison them." After arranging this, the 2 men raised their heads and stared at the 6 great evil kings. Old Patriarch Yi and Old Patriarch Kang really are vigilant people, the Ghost King laughed sarcastically. Enough nonsense, since you dared show yourself here today, I'll make sure you die without a burial." Yi Kuangren roared. A figure suddenly appeared in front of the 6 great evil kings, interrupting Yi Kuangren's words. After seeing this figure's appearance, everyone paled. Evil Lord Yang Bai. Chapter 590. No one knew how he had appeared or whether he had been here all this time. It wasn't until he appeared that everyone saw him. "Two old patriarchs are too serious. We did not come here today to start a war with you." Yang Sun looked around at the crowd indifferently. "You don't want to start a war?" Yang Inghao coldly snorted. "Then why did the Demon Lord and 6 evil kings come here today?" Yang Bai replied indifferently, "We came here to seek peace." Seek peace? Everyone's expression became strange, none of them having expected Yang Bai to say such a thing. Yang Bai no longer paid attention to these people and instead focused his attention on Yang Kai, his expression becoming dignified as he said, "Martial nephew, it's been a long time." "Martial uncle, I trust you've been well since we last met." Yang Kai grinned. Yang Bai nodded lightly. "Martial uncle has underestimated you. I didn't expect you to become my biggest enemy. Being able to accomplish this much, martial nephew really isn't simple." Martial uncle's praise is too high. Heroes are made of time. Martial nephew must thank martial uncle for giving me this opportunity to display my abilities. We're family, there's no need to be polite. Yang Bai's face was gloomy, and he looked somewhat unhappy. Although his means were heaven-defying, he really had misjudged this young man. He hadn't expected that a young man like Yang Kai would actually be able to stir up such a big storm, even forcing him to take the initiative to appear today. "Martial nephew, martial uncle came here today because he really wanted to make peace with you," Yang Bai said sincerely. "Although the strength you've gathered now probably exceeds that of my holy land, if a fight really broke out, how many people do you think will be able to survive? Why don't we all stop here?" "Good," Yang Kai nodded firmly. "Since martial uncle has such intentions, how could martial nephew disobey? I don't want to be enemies with a master like you." "Martial nephew really is easy to talk to," Yang Bai chuckled. Yang Kai's expression suddenly changed as he coldly said, "But before we begin, can martial uncle offer me his head? My father and grandmaster are both very concerned about martial uncle." "Impudence!" The tyrannical Force King roared, "You little brat." Before he could finish speaking though, he was interrupted by Yang Bai raising his hand. Yang Bai slowly shook his head and said, "Martial nephew seems determined to be my enemy." He had a pained expression on his face, as if he regretted Yang Kai's decision. "Martial nephew, your decision will affect the life and death of countless people. Countless people will be separated from their families. I hope you will consider it carefully." Yang Bai made a final effort. "Ask the 8 great families, ask the central capital if they are willing to make peace with you." Yang Kai coldly shouted. Yang Bai sighed softly. "Since that's the case, there's no need to say more." As soon as he finished speaking, everyone's aura began to fluctuate. Yang Kai stared deeply at Yang Bai for a moment before suddenly roaring, "Begin!" The masters from the 8 great families all rushed forward. The cultivator from Yang Kai's mansion who had been hiding nearby also emerged from the crowd. The 13 blood warriors, Lu Si, Li Yuan-chun, Ling Tai-su, as well as the 10 transcendents who had joined in later, all released their Yuan-chi and charged towards the 6 great evil kings. A strange cackle rang out as the Poison King's figure flickered and a large green poisonous mist descended from the sky, enveloping the group below. From the Ghost King's body, a series of resentful souls continuously shot out, wailing like ghosts and howling like wolves, stirring up the entire central capital. The Lightning Flash Shadow King transformed into a bolt of lightning, his figure so fast that it was almost impossible for anyone to follow him. Only a single shadow was able to follow him closely. Naturally, it was Ing Jiao. After breaking through to the transcendent realm, Ing Jiao's speed was still inferior to the Lightning Flash Shadow King's, but he was still able to slightly restrain him. The tyrannical Force King let out a heaven-shaking roar as he sent out a ferocious punch. Although it was a simple punch, The force behind it smashed the Yang family's heaven's sacrificial altar to dust, and the ground several dozen meters around it instantly caved in. The Thunderbolt Beast King let out a roar as countless 5th Order and 6th Order monster beasts quickly approached from the distance, led by the 7th Order monster beast Spider Mother. The masters from the ash-gray cloud evil land were either flying through the air or riding on monster beasts, all of them rushing over with great momentum. 5 of the 6 great evil kings did not hesitate to attack. Only Xianxia Luo wore a hesitant and complicated expression as she quietly retreated some distance and casually released her Yuan Qi, sending out waves of bewitching energy. She didn't want to fight, but with Yang Bai here, she had to act. Traitorous disciple, today is the day you die. Ling Taisu's target was Demon Lord Yang Bai, joining forces with some of the 8 great families' transcendent realm masters to attack him. Honored master? Yang Bai looked at him with pity but did not confront them head-on. Instead, his figure flickered, transformed into a blue streak, and disappeared. No one knew where he had gone. An unprecedented battle broke out in an instant. The central capital 8 great families, the masters from Yang Kai's mansion, and the invaders from the ash-gray cloud evil land poured almost all of their forces into this battle. With the Yang family as the center, a variety of brilliant martial skills and artifacts bloomed, causing the world energy aura to become chaotic. Although the new patriarchs of the 7 great families also wanted to participate in this battle, they were closely guarded by the masters of their respective families. Before the situation was clear, the 7 great families would not allow them to rush out. Only Yang Kai led the old demon through the battlefield. Inside his knowledge sea, the solitary golden eye continued to emit a huge attractive force. Once an immortal ascension boundary master died, as long as they were within 20 meters of Yang Kai, he would be able to absorb their spiritual energy into his knowledge sea. Yang Kai didn't go looking for trouble with the transcendent realm masters. His goal was only the immortal ascension boundary masters. Even without the old demon taking action, even a peak immortal ascension boundary master wouldn't be Yang Kai's opponent. The ash-gray cloud evil land only had a dozen or so transcendents left. Such a small number, in front of the joint forces of the 8 great families and Yang Kai's mansion, was simply not enough. Yang Yinghao was right. As long as Yang Kai's mansion joined forces with the 8 great families, it wouldn't be difficult to expel the ash-gray cloud evil land. The battle began at noon and lasted until the early hours of the next day. Both sides suffered countless casualties. Although the 8 great families and Yang Kai's mansion also suffered losses, the ash-gray cloud evil land's Yuan Qi suffered heavy losses. It was likely that after this battle, the ash-gray cloud evil land would not be able to recover. Seeing hope, the 8 great families and Yang Kai's mansion cultivator fought bravely while the ash-gray cloud evil land's cultivator and monster beast were forced to retreat. Xianxia Luo, who was dealing with several masters from the 8 great families, suddenly felt a strange aura approach, and before she could react, Yang Pa suddenly appeared in front of her. "Qin Luo, come with me." Yang Pa faintly commanded, not allowing any explanation as he sent out a palm strike towards the masters who were besieging Xianxia Luo. With a 3rd order transcendent master taking action, the masters from the 8 great families didn't even have the ability to resist, all of them coughing up blood as they were sent flying like paper kites. Xianxia Luo's expression was filled with shock as she gently nodded her head and followed Yang Pa up into the sky. Yang Bai waved his hand and isolated himself from Xianxia Luo's aura, only coldly watching the battle below, seemingly having no intention of intervening. "Master, what is your purpose?" Xianxia Luo stared at Yang Bai and waited for a long time, but seeing that he had no intention of speaking, she took the initiative to ask. "My purpose?" Yang Bai glanced over at her. "The Holy Land's disciples have suffered heavy casualties. Ghost King and the others are gradually unable to hold on. Why don't you take action to rescue them?" "Why should I rescue them?" Yang Bai smiled lightly. "What does their life or death have to do with me?" "Sure enough, the Holy Land is just a chess piece to master." Xianxia Luo's beautiful eyes flashed a complex emotion. "You've never cared about the survival of the Holy Land." It's ridiculous that Ghost King and the others always thought that under your leadership, the Holy Land would eventually destroy the 8 great families and replace them as the world's top existences. That's their wishful thinking. I never told them that. Yang Bai nodded without hesitation. If that's the case, why did Master call me up here? Xianxia Luo's chest heaved up and down as she asked with some dissatisfaction. Because I need a woman to stand behind me. Yang Bai glanced at her with interest, his eyes clear and without the slightest trace of lust. Xianxia Luo smiled and said, I never thought Master would be interested in women. I'm a man, and a man needs a woman, Yang Bai said, but the only woman in this world who is worthy of me is you. You can rest assured, I won't do anything to you, I just need you to accompany me and witness everything. A single person is always lonely. Witness? Witness what? Xianxia Luo asked curiously. So, you'll know in a while. Yang Bai smiled mysteriously, Xianxia Luo clearly seeing some excitement flash across his eyes. This kind of excitement was something he had never shown before, as if something exciting was about to happen. Qin Luo, your relationship with my martial nephew seems to be quite deep, Yang Bai said, seemingly intentionally or unintentionally. Xianxia Luo's heart clenched, but she quickly calmed down and quickly said, because of this relationship, I am already his woman. Yang Bai was surprised, but he didn't care, nodding, then from today onwards, forget about him. Although he is strong, by following me, you will realize that this world is not as simple as you think. You will see many things and scenes you have never imagined. Xianxia Luo stared at him blankly, not quite understanding what he meant. What about Master? A violent voice suddenly called out. It was the tyrannical Force King, who was being besieged by Yang Kai's forces. Although his methods were powerful and his strength reached the heavens, it was still difficult for 2 fists to resist 4 hands. Being attacked by so many masters from Yang Kai's forces, he was still somewhat overwhelmed. Seeing the Holy Land's people die one after another, but still not seeing Yang Bai make a move, the tyrannical Force King suddenly hesitated. The ash-gray cloud evil land daring to attack the central capital was mainly relying on Yang Bai, otherwise, why would these evil kings run here to seek their own deaths? I'm afraid Master won't care about us. The Ghost King's expression was ferocious as a massive black cloud wrapped around him. That black cloud transformed into the shape of a human face, vivid and lifelike. It opened its bloody mouth and flew out, swallowing a large number of martial artists. Chapter 591. On the other side, Annihilating Poison King was displaying his poison secret art to its fullest, but under the siege of so many masters he seemed to be a little powerless, panting heavily for breath as he laughed loudly. Yes, Master won't care about us, otherwise why wouldn't he help us? I'm afraid he has already fled. Bullshit. The Force King roared hysterically, how could Master flee? He must be preparing some kind of killing move to destroy the central capital in one fell swoop. Idiot. The Poison King and Ghost King both snorted disdainfully. Those who could sit in the position of Evil King were not simple characters. Naturally, their schemes and shrewdness were incomparable. Only this tyrannical Force King, in addition to his brute strength, was a simple-minded person with no schemes to speak of. Even now, he still firmly believed that Demon Lord Yang Bai was planning to destroy the central capital in one fell swoop. Not only did the evil kings not know where Yang Bai was hiding at this moment, but even the 8 great families had no idea. Many people were searching for Yang Bai's figure, but no one could find him. The barrier set up by a third-order transcendent master was impossible to break. This led many people to believe that Yang Bai had really fled after seeing the situation turn bad. However, Yang Kai had a very bad feeling about this, as if something big was about to happen. Not bothering to absorb the spiritual energy of the immortal ascension boundary masters who had died, Yang Kai quickly searched for the old patriarchs of the 8 great families. After the great battle, these old patriarchs had all been meditating, preparing to deal with the next round of fierce battles and completely annihilate the ash-gray cloud evil land. When Yang Kai arrived, they were almost done with their preparations. Great uncle. Yang Kai walked over to Yang Yinghao and asked with a dignified expression, "Do you know why Yang Bai decided to invade the central capital? What is his purpose?" Yang Yinghao heard this and quickly asked, "What do you mean?" Yang Kai took a deep breath and explained, "It seems that because the last time the 8 great families besieged the ash-gray cloud evil land, Yang Bai and the 6 great evil kings are holding a grudge, so this time they are retaliating. After all, after so many years, the 8 great families and the ash-gray cloud evil land were like fire and water, and the hatred between them had reached an irreconcilable level. However, I don't think Yang Bai will rashly attack the central capital for this reason. He should know that even if he succeeds, the price he will have to pay will not be small. If it isn't because he is too bored, then the 8 great families must have something he wants." Hearing him say this, the old fogies all fell into contemplation. After exchanging glances with each other, Yi Kuangren said, "The only things that can be targeted by him are probably the secrets of your Yang family. And although the heritage of our 8 great families is quite good, there's nothing that could interest a character like Yang Bai." Yang Kai frowned. He knew they were talking about the secrets of the Hall of God's Roots. If Yang Bai had set his sights on the Soul Foundation Temple, that could barely be explained. But soon, Yang Kai shook his head. No, if he was after the secrets of the Yang family, he wouldn't have invaded from the north, but from the south. The combat strength displayed by the ash-gray cloud evil land in the early stages could be said to be irresistible. No matter which side they attacked from, the families there were unable to resist. If Yang Bai had set his sights on the Yang family's Soul Foundation Temple, he definitely wouldn't have invaded from the north. What's more, the secrets of the Soul Foundation Temple were only known to the Yang family's patriarch and the Transcendent Realm Master who was about to die. So where did Yang Bai obtain this information? Think about it carefully. Is there something in each of your families that he has set his sights on? Yang Kai swept his eyes over the 8 old men. The 8 old men all wore dignified expressions, but after thinking about it carefully, they still couldn't figure it out. The situation had developed to this point, so if there really was something in each of their families that Yang Bai had set his sights on, they wouldn't hide it anymore. Yang Kai observed them carefully and couldn't help feeling a little disappointed. Could it be that his guess was wrong? What was Yang Bai's purpose for invading the central capital this time? At that moment, Yang Bai's aura, which had been unreachable for so long, suddenly appeared out of thin air. Everyone's expression became solemn as they looked up and saw Yang Bai floating quietly mid-air, coldly overlooking the central capital, a burst of thunderous laughter erupting from his mouth. Everyone involuntarily stopped what they were doing and turned towards the source of this voice. The time has come. Suddenly, Yang Bai's smile faded and he said softly. Yang Kai's heart clenched as a trace of uneasiness filled his heart. He didn't know when Yang Bai had said the time had come, but since he dared to appear, he must have achieved his goal. 8 great families. Ridiculous. They're nothing more than ant-like existences, yet they dare to call themselves such. Martial nephew, although you're not bad, your vision isn't far-sighted enough. Today, allow Martial uncle to show you what it means to say that there is always a heaven beyond a heaven. This world is not what you see, there are many things you don't understand. However, no matter what, Martial uncle must thank you. If not for your sudden appearance, today's battle would not have resulted in so many deaths. If not, Martial uncle would have had a headache. Yang Bai's expression was calm as he floated mid-air, speaking with confidence and assurance, as if he didn't place anyone in this world in his eyes. Yang Kai's expression changed as he stared at Yang Bai ran in surprise. From what he had just said, Yang Kai understood something quite strange. Did Yang Bai know something about Shigao? Not waiting for Yang Kai to think about it, Yang Bai suddenly shouted, "Evil kings, protectors!" Tyrannical heavenly force Wang Chaoyang rushed over without hesitation. The Poison King, Ghost King, Shadow King, and Beast King all looked hesitant, not knowing whether they should act or not. Yang Bai glanced over at them faintly and chuckled, "What's wrong? Do you want to disobey my orders?" The Poison King smiled grimly and said, "Master, I just want to ask, since yesterday's battle began, why haven't I seen you take action? The Holy Land's casualties aren't light. Because I want them to die. If they don't die, how can I achieve my goal? Yang Bai replied casually. The Poison King nodded, suddenly cupping his fists and saying, Master, take care of yourself, I won't be playing with you any longer. They had followed Yang Bai to attack the central capital in order to replace it, but now seeing that there was no hope and Yang Bai acting so ruthlessly, how could these evil kings be willing to remain? They were selfish, insidious, and deceitful people. Loyalty, honor, and disgrace had nothing to do with them. Saying so, the Poison King, Ghost King, Shadow King, and Beast King turned to leave. Yang Bai didn't care about the deaths of his subordinates, so they naturally didn't care either. As long as they could survive, nothing else mattered. Yang Bai sneered, None of you can leave. Protectors. As soon as these words fell, the four evil kings who were preparing to leave suddenly paused, their expressions filled with pain, as if they were resisting something. A moment later, their expressions gradually eased and they flew over to Yang Bai's side, surrounding him in a tight circle to protect him. The masters from the 8 great families all paled. Although they didn't know what had happened to the 4 evil kings, anyone could see that Yang Bai was using some kind of overbearing method to control them. Yang Bai finally took action, waving his hand and releasing a mysterious energy wave that covered the entire central capital. Stop him! Yang Kai shouted. No matter what Yang Bai's purpose was, he had to be stopped. With this order, all the transcendents who were still capable of fighting rushed out, their target being Yang Bai and the 6 great evil kings. Too late. Yang Bai laughed. Now that I've shown myself, there's nothing you can do. As he spoke, the blood from the corpses of the central capital's dead corpses and the blood on the ground all began to flow and seep into the ground. A series of obscure energy waves began shuttling through the ground, searching for something. Suddenly, Yang Bai's expression lit up and he turned his eyes to a certain spot, waving his hand. The blood that had seeped into the ground all rushed towards that spot. A shocking bloody aura filled the air. Old Demon, who was following beside Yang Kai, wore a dignified expression and quickly said, Young Master, this should be some kind of blood sacrifice. Old Demon also knew how to perform a blood sacrifice, so naturally he was able to see some clues, but his method was somewhat different from Yang Bai's. The only similarity was that they both needed blood and people to die. The number of people who had died in the ash-gray cloud evil land and the central capital these past few days was incalculable, so the amount of blood that had flowed out was like a river. Yang Bai now using this blood as a blood sacrifice could only be described as a grand gesture. Compared to this, Old Demon's Demon Spectre Saint technique was simply incomparable. Suddenly, a violent sound came from the depths of the earth and the entire central capital began to shake. Everyone's expression became aghast. Yang Yinghao suddenly seemed to think of something and exclaimed, Damn, could it be that Yang Bai is eyeing something underground? What's underground? Yang Kai hurriedly asked. Yang Yinghao nodded. This is only something recorded in the ancient books of the 8 great families. No one has ever confirmed it. It is said that there is a huge earth vein underneath the central capital, and it is because of this earth vein that our 8 great families have been able to take root here for so long. Not only does the Yang family have such a record, the other 7 families should also have such records. Qiu Shouqing thought about it for a moment before nodding. This old master has read about it in the ancient books of the family. However, it is said that a generation of people once tried to find this earth vein, but after countless years, they finally failed. Could it be that it really exists and we haven't found it yet? Meng Shiping's expression became ugly. The 8 great families had been stationed in the central capital for countless years, and although there were records of earth veins, they had never been able to find one. However, Demon Lord Yang Bai had now accurately found it, making Meng Shiping feel somewhat ashamed. Earth vein? Yang Kai muttered. Yang Kai had seen earth veins before and had even absorbed the energy contained within them. In the past, in the outer sea hidden island, there was an almost dried-up earth vein. He absorbed all the remaining energy, and his strength increased tremendously. Underneath the central capital, there was a huge intact earth vein. If one could find it, they would obtain incredible benefits. His purpose is most likely this. Yang Kai nodded lightly. Yang Bai was a third-order transcendent and had already reached his limit. If he wanted to improve his strength further, he would need to rely on external forces, and the huge amount of energy contained within this earth vein was his best choice. Although this was only a guess, it should be close. Chapter 592. The entire central capital city shook violently as large swathes of buildings collapsed and dust filled the air, making it seem like the end of the world had arrived. Even those who weren't clear about the situation realized that this place was no longer safe. The masters from the 8 great families and Yang Kai mansion all erupted with their full strength, fiercely attacking Yang Bai in an attempt to interfere with his actions. However, the 6 great evil kings were closely guarding him, so unless they could break through their defenses, they couldn't cause any harm to Yang Bai. Of the 6 great evil kings, with the exception of Xianxia and Wuxia, the remaining 5 were all second-order transcendents. Among them, Shadow King and Force King Iran had both reached the peak of the second order, so regardless of their own safety, they had desperately tried to protect Yang Bai, creating an impregnable defense. Xianxia and Wuxia's beautiful eyes flashed with a strange light. Suddenly, the mysterious grade Qing Luo fan appeared in her delicate hand and poured her yuan qi into it, causing it to glow with a brilliant light. The lifelike portraits of the beauties on the Qing Luo fan flew out one by one, as if they had been given life, each of them displaying an extremely dissolute and flirtatious expression, their clothes half undone, revealing large tracts of seductive skin. A series of whispers resounded throughout the heavens and earth, seemingly capable of awakening the deepest desires in everyone's hearts and turning them into beasts. This mysterious grade artifact had been passed down from generation to generation by the beguiling demon queen, and when combined with the beguiling demon queen's boundless beguiling technique, few could resist. Even a transcendent realm master would fall into a daze for a brief moment, unable to extricate themselves from such a state. At this moment, Xianxia Luo displayed the power of her Qing Luo fan, targeting the 5 great evil kings and Yang Bai. The Force King, whose mind was the purest, instantly had his eyes turn red and his breathing become heavy, his lower body bulging like a tent. The other 4 great evil kings all frowned, obviously also affected. Cheap slut. The Herculean king suddenly regained his senses. It was precisely because of his simple-minded mind that he was quick to fall for the trick. He was also quick to escape from Xianxia Luo's seductive technique. With a roar, he ferociously threw a punch at Xianxia Luo. The beguiling demon queen's beautiful face turned pale, not daring to resist and hurriedly retreated, but half of her body was still swept away by the Strength King's fist, causing her to scream miserably as she fell to the ground. Yang Bai stared at Xianxia Luo indifferently and shook his head. "Qing Luo, you disappoint me, is this your choice?" Xianxia Luo's expression was indifferent. She let her body fall and said softly, "I told you, I am already his woman. Naturally, I can't help you deal with him. You will regret this." Yang Bai sighed slightly. The peak of the martial Dao really is lonely at the top. As he spoke, his hands did not stop moving. Some of the masters from the 8 great families wanted to chase down and take Xianxia Luo's life directly, but Tang Yuxian was the first to act. The blood warriors all knew about the delicate relationship between Yang Kai and Xianxia Luo, so naturally they wouldn't make things difficult for her. Tang Yuxian simply wanted to rescue Xianxia Luo. Seeing Tang Yuxian catch the beguiling demon queen, Yang Kai breathed a sigh of relief. Xiao xiao xiao. Massive bursts of energy suddenly shot out from the ground, the density of this energy far beyond anyone's imagination. Each of these bursts of energy was visible to the naked eye, as if they were pillars of light rising from the ground and covering the entire central capital. Looking down from above, one could see that the chaotic and fragmented central capital city was now shining with pillars of light that shot straight up into the sky. Those pillars of light were exuding a terrifying energy. Yang Bai laughed loudly, his figure flickering as he randomly found a pillar of light and dove down, soon disappearing, leaving behind only the 5 great evil kings who were still desperately defending their original position. "There really is an earth vein," Yang Inghao exclaimed. Seeing this scene, The old patriarchs of the 8 great families immediately understood. The records in their ancient books were not groundless. There was indeed a huge earth vein under the central capital. Now, this earth vein had been discovered by Yang by using his own methods. No matter what he wants to do with this earth vein, we can't just ignore it. Yang Yinghao's expression became ugly as he shouted, following Yang Bai along with the other 7 old patriarchs, searching for a nearby pillar of light and following its source into the ground. Yang Kai frowned. "Let's go take a look." The old demon hurriedly followed. Yang Kai's mansion. Meng Wuya, who had been guarding Yang Kai's heavenly palace and protecting Yang Kai's rear base, suddenly wore a look of pleasant surprise and excitement. His figure flickered as he flew up into the air and stared down at the desolate yet abundant scene of the central capital, his brow bursting with joy as he exclaimed, "An earth vein!" After a moment of silence, Meng Wuya suddenly laughed, wearing out iron shoes in a fruitless search only to find it without any effort. "Ning Chang, come with Master, it's time for Master to unlock the first seal." Hearing this, Xia Ningchang's mind shook as she quickly nodded her head. She had been adopted by Meng Wuya since she was a child and had been vigorously cultivated in order to one day find an opportunity to unlock the shackles and seals on Meng Wuya's body. Xia Ningchang also knew that if she wanted to break Meng Wuya's first seal, she would need an incomparably large amount of energy. No matter what the source of the energy was, as long as there was enough, she would be able to use her special physique to use Meng Wuya's body as a cauldron to refine the first seal. Refining a person into a pill was something only those with the sacred spirit medicine body could do. The master and disciple pair also found a nearby light pillar and, under the protection of Meng Wuya, entered the ground. Above the central capital, the masters from the 8 great families and Yang Kai's mansion were still besieging the ash-gray cloud Evil Land's cultivator. The invaders had suffered countless casualties, and now there were only a few hundred people left, including some monster beast. Although the 5 great evil kings still had the strength to fight, they were surrounded by dozens of transcendent realm masters, so there was no way for them to escape. Once they exhausted themselves, they would be able to kill them. The situation gradually became clear. Below the central capital, Yang Kai and Old Demon continued to fall towards the source of the light pillar, seemingly endless. Although they were wrapped in a rich world energy aura, this kind of descent inevitably made them panic, not knowing when they would reach the end. After a stick of incense worth of time, the two finally set foot on the ground. He didn't know how deep he was underground, but he could no longer sense the sounds of battle and energy fluctuations in the central capital. Looking around, he could only see pure and rich energy flowing in all directions, flowing like a clear river. This energy gathered together and exuded a faint glow, so even though they were deep underground, the light wasn't too dim. Where did those 8 people go? Old Demon turned his head and looked around, but couldn't find any trace of Yang Yinghao. This way, Yang Kai gestured in a certain direction. On the ground in front of them, he saw some messy footprints. Releasing his divine sense, Yang Kai was only able to sense 1,000 meters or so. Such a rich world energy aura isolated the range of his divine sense. After walking for a short time, several forks appeared in front of them, causing Yang Kai to frown. The earth vein under the central capital extended in all directions, and the underground passages were also long and winding. Under the circumstances where Yang Kai's divine sense was restricted, it was not easy to find the old patriarchs and Yang Bai of the 8 great families. Yang Kai could only rely on the shallow footprints they had left behind. After taking a few turns and taking a few forks in the road, even the footprints of the 8 people had disappeared. Yang Kai and Old Demon had completely lost track of them, so in desperation, Yang Kai could only rely on his instincts to move forward. Suddenly, Yang Kai's footsteps came to a halt and he turned around. "Young master, what's wrong?" Yang Kai didn't answer, but after a short time, a slender figure rushed over. Old Demon was shocked and was about to attack when Yang Kai stopped him. When this figure came close, Old Demon discovered that it was actually his young master's senior sister, Su Yan. "Why did you come down here?" Yang Kai quickly pulled Su Yan closer. She and the other brothers and junior brothers of High Heaven Pavilion had been staying inside the Heavenly Palace and had not participated in the war against the Ash-Gray Cloud Evil Land, so when Yang Kai saw her appear at this moment, he was naturally a bit surprised. I was chasing after Treasurer Meng and junior sister Ju, Su Yan explained. I sensed your aura, so I came to take a look. Treasurer Meng and little senior sister also came down? Yang Kai was stunned. What about the mansion? The mansion is fine. The Heavenly Palace's barrier is still there. Yang Kai nodded gently, but couldn't help feeling a bit confused. Why did Treasurer Meng come down here? He even brought little senior sister with him. This made Yang Kai quite confused. Although Meng Wuya could reach the second-order transcendent realm after unlocking his seal, it would still cause him some damage. So unless it was absolutely necessary, Yang Kai had no intention of letting Meng Wuya participate in the battle. As long as Meng Wuya stayed in the mansion and maintained the Heavenly Palace's operation, it would be fine. Yang Kai had never imagined that Meng Wuya would actually take the initiative to come out. Since you've come, let's go together. Yang Kai smiled lightly. Su Yan nodded gently. The group of three continued to search the depths of the earth, carefully probing their surroundings but still unable to detect the aura of others. Su Yan was only able to detect Yang Kai's existence because she and Yang Kai shared a heart and soul connection, so she was able to accurately pinpoint his position. This method was only limited to the two of them. Just as Yang Kai was pondering, he suddenly felt that the flow of energy in the earth vein underground was somewhat unusual. The energy from all directions was converging fiercely in one direction. It seemed that there was a huge suction force that was madly swallowing the energy in the earth vein. Let's go take a look. Yang Kai's expression sank as he quickly followed the direction of the energy flow. Half an hour later, Yang Kai noticed the auras of two people. Startled, Yang Kai quickly stepped forward. In a fork not far away, Yang Kai suddenly found Meng Wuya and Xianxia. Meng Wuya was sitting cross-legged on the ground with a happy expression on his face while Xianxia stood in front of him, his hands constantly forming a series of mysterious seals. As these seals were formed, the energy in the earth vein was continuously flowing into Meng Wuya's body. As if he had noticed someone approaching, Meng Wuya nervously glanced over, and even Xianxia's movements became somewhat sluggish. After seeing Yang Kai's face, both of them couldn't help breathing a sigh of relief. Treasurer Meng, what are you doing down here? Yang Kai looked around in surprise and asked curiously. Unlocking the seal. Meng Wuya replied softly. Chapter 593. Yang Kai's eyes lit up as he was pleasantly surprised. Although Treasurer Meng didn't say much, Yang Kai could somewhat guess. There was a seal on Meng Wuya's body, and because of this seal, his cultivation was only at the peak immortal ascension boundary. If he could unlock this seal, he would be able to maintain his second-order transcendent cultivation all year round. Congratulations, Treasurer Meng. Yang Kai was also very happy that Meng Wuya was able to find an opportunity to unlock this seal. It seemed that Demon Lord Yang Bai's actions this time had brought him some benefits. Treasurer Meng, have you seen any trace of Yang Bai or the 8 great families? Yang Kai hurriedly asked. Meng Wuya shook his head and said, if you want to find them, Ning Chang can help you. Yang Kai quickly turned his eyes to his little senior sister. Xianxia gently nodded but didn't say anything, simply waving her hand and sending out a burst of energy. This burst of energy shot out like a bolt of lightning and disappeared into the underground tunnel. After waiting for a while, this burst of energy returned. Xianxia casually pointed in a certain direction. Yang Kai grinned and walked towards the direction she pointed. Yang Kai, I'll stay behind to protect Treasurer Meng and junior sister Xia, Su Yan said hesitantly. She really wanted to act together with Kai Yang, because up until now, all the dangerous matters and all the battles had been shouldered by Kai Yang alone. But now that she saw that Meng Wuya and Xianxia were in the middle of something important, and there was no one around to protect them, she couldn't help but feel a bit uneasy. If she stayed behind, she could at least protect these two in times of danger. Yang Kai nodded. Then you be careful. You too, Su Yan smiled. After bidding farewell to Meng Wuya and Xia Ningchang, Yang Kai and the old demon followed the direction the little senior sister had pointed out, constantly scanning their surroundings with their powerful spiritual energy. Soon, some life auras entered Yang Kai's perception, causing Yang Kai to shake and lead the old demon over. In front of them, there were 9 figures. 8 of them were the old clan leaders of the 8 great clans who had chased the evil lord all the way here. Naturally, it was Yang Bai. When Yang Kai and the old demon arrived, the two sides were in a standoff. Although the 8 old patriarchs also had transcendent realm cultivations and had the advantage in numbers, facing a character like the demon lord, they still didn't dare act rashly. This gave them a lot of pressure. On the other hand, Yang Bai's expression remained calm. There was still a hint of excitement in the depths of his eyes. Although his methods were exceedingly powerful, he was not in a hurry to make a move. Instead, he calmly looked at the 8 people with a mocking gaze. Seeing Yang Kai and the old demon suddenly appear here, Yang Bai's eyes lit up and he smiled. Martial nephew also came. Good, good. Martial uncle was worried that no one would witness this moment. It's good to have more people. Yang Kai coldly snorted, stepped forward, and stared at Yang Bai solemnly. Martial uncle, you've spent so much effort, not hesitating to sacrifice the lives of all the masters of the ash-gray cloud evil land just to find this earth vein under the central capital? Why? Yang Kai asked. This earth vein belongs to the central capital. Even if you find it, you won't be able to absorb all the energy here in a short time and will only benefit the 8 great families. Martial uncle doesn't seem to be a fool. He wouldn't make such a bad deal, would he? Yang Bai's expression became interested as he nodded lightly. It seems that martial nephew is smarter than these 8 people. They all thought my purpose was to occupy this earth vein. But in fact, they were wrong. I am not so ambitious as to absorb the energy from this earth vein under the noses of everyone in the central capital. Yang Yinghao and the others all wore confused expressions. They all thought Yang Bai was eyeing this earth vein's energy. None of them had expected him to deny it now. So what was he doing now? No matter what your purpose is, today, this place will be your burial place. Yang Yinghao coldly shouted, interrupting Yang Bai's chatter. Yang Bai chuckled, with just you lot, such a thing is impossible. As long as I want to, I can take your lives at any time. Then why hasn't martial uncle acted yet? Yang Kai asked sarcastically. As I said, I needed someone to witness it. Shan Qing Luo was the best candidate. I was prepared to share it with her, but unfortunately, she didn't know how to appreciate kindness and missed such a good opportunity. Yang Bai slowly shook his head, a look of disappointment filling his face. Martial uncle's interests are truly vile. It doesn't matter. Yang Bai shrugged his shoulders casually, because I'm about to leave here and go to a higher world. A higher world? The 8 old men were stunned, none of them understanding what he was talking about. The old demon grinned wickedly while Yang Kai wore a thoughtful expression. Ignorant. Yang Bai's face showed a trace of pity. Do you think the above immortal ascension boundary is the peak of the martial Tao? You're wrong, the above immortal ascension boundary is not, and it's not called that, it's just a name you give to this realm. The 8 old patriarchs all stared in shock, as if they had just heard something incredible, all of them staring expectantly at Yang Bai, hoping to understand what kind of realm the above immortal ascension boundary was. It's called the transcendent realm, a realm beyond the mortal realm. Yang Kai said with a look of disgust, interrupting Yang Bai's self-display and shaking his head, Martial uncle, I thought you were a great character, but now it seems you're nothing more than a clown. Yang Bai's eyes went cold, seemingly not having expected Yang Kai to know so much about this realm, but soon his expression relaxed and he nodded. Was it that little brother behind you who told you this? The old demon snickered, not saying anything, staring at Yang Bai with ridicule and disdain. Yang Bai showing off his knowledge of the transcendent realm in front of him was like showing off one's slight skill in front of an expert. Looking at the old demon, Yang Bai sincerely said, Little brother, you and I share the same origin. My achievements all come from your current body. Everyone should be closer to each other. If you're willing, why don't we join hands? No need, the old demon grinned meaningfully. This old master still believes following young master will be more promising. Do you really think so? Yang Bai was somewhat disappointed, emphasizing, although my martial nephew's aptitude is extraordinary, I'm afraid his life's achievements will be limited to this. If you come with me, I can take you to see a wider world. Saying so, Yang Bai suddenly stretched out his hand and slapped the nearby cave wall, pouring a fierce amount of yuan qi into it, causing the energy of the entire earth vein to surge and converge towards him. A short time later, at the position Yang Bai had just slapped, a small black dot suddenly appeared. This small black dot rapidly expanded, and after a few breaths of time, it had transformed into a black hole several meters in diameter. This black hole was so deep that it seemed capable of swallowing everything in its path. The faces of the 8 great families' old patriarchs all changed greatly as they hurriedly retreated, none of them understanding what this black hole was. On the other hand, Yang Kai and the old demon's eyes nearly popped out of their sockets as they simultaneously exclaimed, "A void corridor?" Yang Bai stared at them in surprise, not having expected them all to recognize this thing, nodding, "It is indeed a void corridor. The other side is a higher world, far different from this one. This is just a barbarian land where world energy is scarce and masters are rare, but the other side is different. The world energy there is abundant, making it more suitable for a cultivator to sense the heavenly way and martial Tao. Little brother, as long as you agree, I am willing to let you enter with me and share the resources there." "So that's how it is." The old demon nodded solemnly. "It seems that you not only inherited the inheritance of this body, but also its memories." Yang Bai nodded without hesitation. The Demon Lord's corpse in High Heaven Pavilion's coiling dragon stream was now being used by the old demon as his body, but before that, Yang Bai had obtained its inheritance and thoughts, allowing him to understand the mysteries of the transcendent realm and improve his strength so quickly. It should be the memories contained in the Demon Lord's corpse that led Yang Bai to the earth vein under the central capital and to the location of this void corridor. His goal was not the central capital, nor was it this earth vein, but rather this void corridor in front of him. He wanted to escape this world and enter another place in order to pursue a higher realm and cultivation. However, the memories you obtained don't seem to be complete, the old demon grinned strangely. "Why does little brother say that?" Yang Bai frowned slightly. "Do you think the resources there are at your disposal? Do you think the masters there are easy to bully? What a joke! Although this place is a barbarian land, the other side is also filled with dangers. Your cultivation is not bad, you can call yourself a tyrant here, but if you were to go to the other side, at most you'd be a sect elder. If I were you, I'd choose to live a carefree life here," the old demon said calmly. "How do you know so much?" Yang Bai was finally surprised. "That's impossible, all the memories of that body have been completely inherited by me, it's impossible for you to obtain its thoughts." This old master doesn't need to obtain its thoughts, because this old master's body came from that world. The old demon laughed and pointed to himself. "The original owner of this body, if we really want to compare, is this old master's junior's junior." Yang Bai's expression suddenly changed as he stared at the old demon like he was some kind of monster, a thick sense of dread flashing across the depths of his eyes. Yang Bai's current achievements were only possible because he obtained the inheritance of that body, but now the old demon was saying that this demon lord was his junior's junior, a look of disdain appearing on his face. This caused Yang Bai to feel somewhat at a loss, all of his previous understandings being completely overturned. "You want to deceive me?" Yang Bai's expression became cold. "No matter what you say, I won't be fooled. Since I've come this far, I'll go and see for myself what the other side of the world is like." The old demon slowly shook his head. "You're the most ignorant one here. It's not up to you to judge." Yang Bai shouted, his aura suddenly becoming dangerous as a rich demonic qi rushed out from his body, his entire face becoming ferocious, as if a demon had descended from the heavens. "I'll become the demon race." Yang Kai stretched out his hand and pointed to his forehead, the massive amount of energy inside his unyielding golden skeleton fiercely bursting forth, covering his body in a layer of demonic qi. The richness of his demonic qi was no less than Yang Bai's, perhaps even greater. Welcome to Immortal Cultivation Audiobooks, your gateway to the mystical world of Xianxia. Dive into legendary tales of martial arts, spiritual growth, and immortal ascension. Here, we bring you full-length English audiobooks of the best Wuxia and Xianxia stories, from young prodigies to ancient sect wars. Perfect for fans of Against the Gods, martial world, and tales of demons and gods.